to show you how to do a half double crochet, and here on my hook I have 11 chains. This is just to practice with, and instead of going through the chain the normal way, I'm also going to show you how to go through the back bump only. Alright, just to show you, it's really easy, and the same rule applies. Instead of going through that first chain on the hook, we're going to go into the second one. So if you want to do it the regular way, you can go into this, but today we're going to go into this back bump right here. And we're going to go through there on each and every single chain. So when you're done, say if you want to make a blanket, you want to have a nice edge where it looks like this, you'll work into this back bump. Right, so just like on the other side, we skip the first back bump and we go into the second one. Oh, and first, before we do that, we yarn over. Right, stick our hook there in the back bump, pull up a loop. So now you have 3 loops on your chain. Yarn over. Right, put your hook downwards and pull that loop, that yarn, through the 3 loops on your hook. Okay, and before we go any further, get your stitch marker and put it through one side of that V. Right, and just like with the other side, if you ever you can't tell, just pull it apart. Okay, that's where my next chain starts, and here's that little back bump. You can see it from the side, and that's where we're going to stick our hook in again. Right, so yarn over, put your hook through that back bump, pull up a loop. Now you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, put your hook downwards, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. And that's what it looks like so far. And you keep on doing that same thing until you reach the end of your chains. So yarn over, put your hook through that back bump, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Okay, and I'll meet you back at the end. Alright, so here we are at the end of our chain. That's our last back bump. Okay, this is what it looks like, and we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stitches. We chained 11 and we ended up with 10 stitches because remember we skipped 1 chain. This is what the back side looks like. Okay. And like we learned in our previous videos, you just chain 1 to go ahead and start on your next row. So on your next row, you do the exact same thing. Yarn over, and we're gonna go under both V's, both loops on the V. And just like with the single crochet, you can pull it apart. You can see that little space right there. That's where we're gonna stick our hook. And then the next stitch, this is our stitch, right? You can kind of see the V right there. So this is our first stitch, and this is where we're going to stick our hook in the next stitch to make our next stitch. So we don't put it down here unless your pattern specifies it, but normally you just go through here. And we're going to do that for each and every single stitch, right underneath the V. and put our hook in that space. Not down here in the big space, but the little one right here. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a couple stitches with you. Right, yarn over, stick your hook there, pull up a loop, and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. Right, here's our stitch. We're not going to go here, we're going to go through here. Yarn over, right, stick your hook through there, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull that loop through all 3 loops. Right, again, there's our stitch. We're not going to go through there, we're going to go through the smaller space up here, right underneath our top V. Oops, and before I go any further, because I always forget, right, so this is our first stitch right there, and since it's going into this space, this is technically the first stitch that we made, and this one the second one. So I'm just gonna stick this stitch marker here to one side, right, and then continue making half double crochet. So yarn over, stick your hook through there, the small space underneath the V, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops on your hook. Right, and I'm gonna meet you guys at the end. Right, so I'm getting to the end. I just took off the stitch marker, but this is the very last stitch that's left. Right, and we're gonna go under both V's, both sides of the V. Right, and like always, chain 1 to start your next row. This is what it looks like so far. If you'd like to get more practice, you can keep on going that way, but I'm going to show you what it looks like when you do the ribbing. So like always with ribbing, you always go, when you turn your work towards you, you always go through the back loop. Right? And like always, you always skip that first chain. Right, so we're going to go through all these back loops until we reach the end. Right, and don't be like me, how I always do, that I always forget to put on a stitch marker. Alright, so put your stitch marker. I'll work your way down the rest of your row. Okay, you guys, so remember here we just did 2 normal rows going under both loops of the V. Alright, so this is our first row, this is our second row, and this is where we started working on the back loop only. And this is what it looks like on the other side. So this is what I mean by having clean edges. This is where we started at. Okay, this is our chain row, and this is the other end. So when you wanna, so here, have I done a chain? Yes. So whenever you're done, say you made a blanket in this stitch, you just chain 1, cut, and pull through, and you end up with the knot right there. And then you just grab one of these needles and just weave in your ends. So this is what the half double crochet looks like. This is just going through both loops. This is what it'll look like. And if you go through the back loop only, you'll end up with what looks like knit and purl stitches and knitting. And just like the others, it's very stretchy. And it's quite thick. And it looks the same in the other one. So let me show you what the others look like. So this is what we just made in half double crochet. This is single crochet, and this is slip stitch.